When the nation is bleeding, you can't expect a polite meeting with the head of state. We need to let him know. And his reply is that the nation is not bleeding. We told him our economy is not helping our poor people. He told us the economy is doing fine. Practically speaking, he told us quite clearly that he did not agree with us. Again, I said, we're not. I think I had the opportunity in your program to remind Nigerians that as bishops, we have no ambitions to take Mr. Tinubu's job or anybody else's job. We are not politicians running for office. We are first and foremost religious leaders who feel we have a duty, not just to preach our religious doctrines, but also to address the lives of our people, both those who are our members and those who are not our members. You can see that from the content and the tone of our statement.
So you become like liberation theologians?
No, not at all. Liberation theologians can be considered more or less ideological, which we are not. Which we are not. You asked me, how did I see the face of
the president in reaction?
I was not surprised that he was not looking very happy. Not even his colleagues who were there. We knew that this is different from the kind of statements that our president keeps receiving from all kinds of people. And that is one of the things that worries us, that there are so many people hanging around Mr. President, giving him a rosy picture of what the country is, which it is not. And we felt that we have no duty to do that. Indeed, we have the obligation to help him to appreciate the reality of the situation in which we find ourselves. And that is the reality that we painted, which I know is not the kind of thing that he wanted to hear. And the reply shows very clear.
I'm concerned that your cross is going over your microphone.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, and you can see his reply. We left that hall, both sides, knowing that, well, we said what we had to say. He said what he had to say.
So was it a frosty meeting then? Would you describe it as fairly frosty? Because, I mean, many Nigerians have become accustomed to polite meetings between religious leaders and political leaders.
When the nation is bleeding, you can't expect a polite meeting with the head of state. We need to let him know. And his reply is that the nation is not bleeding. We told him our economy is not helping our poor people. He told us the economy is doing fine. Practically speaking, he told us quite clearly that he did not agree with us. Again, I said, we're not surprised. We didn't expect him to agree with us. We have done our duty. We have delivered our message. And we have a feeling that somehow, along the line, somebody will show him a few of the things we said.
But in terms of, if you like, your immediate observations, you left the presidential villa believing that the president did not actually really, I mean, hear your concerns. He listened to them, but he didn't actually hear them.
He heard it, and he tried to tell us that he heard us, which is precisely why he replied the way he replied. He replied to the points we raised, but I disagreed with them. So he must have heard it. The only question now is this disagreement his final position, or will there be people around him whose job it is to draw his attention that these guys who came here in white garments, they have not made any personal requests for oil wells or, or any particular personal things. Maybe we should listen to what they are saying. I think we believe one of the problems within our government right now is there are not too many people telling him the truth, which is a pity. We need to have whether in terms of economy or in terms of insecurity, and above all, the area of political climate.
Well, let me come to that political climate, because the Catholic Bishops' Conference warned against what it described as the creeping danger of a one-party dominant state. What was the president's response to that? Because his party, the APC, argues that if opposition parties are weak or fragmented, that is simply politics at work, and they shouldn't be concerned if their party becomes overwhelmingly dominant. I mean, that's a political advantage for them, not through their own making.
The position of Mr. President came very clearly in that statement that he made. In politics, all is fair. Is that true? If that is what politics is, that in politics everything can be done, provided you win election.
Well, clearly that's not correct.
That is not
correct. If that is what was said, then it is certainly not correct.
That is not.
There is
When we heard it,
there is propriety in everything, and they ought to.
And that is what we are worried about. We are worried about the fact that we see clearly that our government is bent on winning by all means, and unfortunately, they have a lot of means at their disposal to win, and they are deploying all those means in a way that eventually, even if we had a free and fair election, the votes of the people may not count. But we gave two warnings.
Right.
We gave two warnings. The first, the one you mentioned. I'm trying to remember now. But the second one is that if we do not rearrange our election system to make sure that elections are really free, fair, and credible, it can lead to difficulties.
Right. I mean, you talked about the dominance of a one-party state.
Okay, yes,
and then
we want that the country doesn't gain anything by a one-party state in a so-called democracy. There's nothing. Of course, we are not expecting Mr. President to help the opposition to defeat him. No, but the point we are raising is that even though the president has all the powers of incumbency, he is in the election. He is a candidate like any other. He is a candidate like any other. And that is why we call our electoral commission independent. Now, there are doubts in some quarters about how independent this electoral commission
But he talked about the electoral commission.
He said so. That
he said it was independent.
He says so. But like we also said, words are not enough.
Yeah, but his point was that it is independent to the extent that, according to him, he's not interfering in the matter. Now, whether the INEC itself decides that because they basically are working under the executive that's in power, that they're going to do the things that they think will help that executive. I mean, I suppose his point is that that's not his making. In other words, that the key point here is whether he himself is interfering in the process, and his argument is that he's not.
Well, the Nigerian political system, the way it is now constructed, precisely is leading to a situation where the INEC cannot be independent. The chairman and all the members, all the commissioners have been appointed by the president.
Yes, it does raise eyebrows.
Now, and the idea, the presumption is that Mr. President will appoint independent, impartial, wonderful people. But on ground, we see that all of them are not only politicians, but members of his party. And which means we have a situation here of what in our religion.
Well, they argue that, I mean, they're not members, they're not members of his party. They're simply maybe people who some argue maybe sympathize with them, but they're not actually members. I mean, the INEC chairman is clearly...
Until we find a system where the membership of the Electoral Commission is put together not by Mr. President, but by a truly independent entity.
Yeah, that would remove the doubts.
And that is not an impossible thing to do. It's done elsewhere. We could do it if we wanted to do it. And whether our present president is in the mood to go that direction, I don't know.
Now, you reminded President Tinubu that he fought for democracy during military rule and suggested that strengthening democratic institutions could become his greatest legacy. What was his reaction to you effectively telling him that this could be a defining moment for his presidency?
Well, I cannot say I looked at his face at that particular I can't say, because during most of the time that they were reading, I was very, very attentive on myself.
Right.
I really looked at. We are hoping that that kind of statement challenges him. That you have a reputation to be a Democrat. You can't, under your watch our democratic structures disintegrate.
Right. But he didn't respond to that specific thing.
Well, we believe, can I say here, silence is consent, that he agrees to, he must agree with what we said there. How he will do it, we don't know. We still have this problem in Nigeria, how incumbents can allow a free and fair playground in elections. We still have that problem. And whereas we know that in those democratic places that we always look up to, it is a normal thing that we have alternation of one party after the other. And during elections, the onus of proof into the electorate always lies on the incumbent party to prove that we have done well. Here in Nigeria, it's the other way around. The other way around, if you are not in power, you just have no way to even move. And it just means that we just continue, and we're going to continue like that. I think we have done our duty. I have the feeling that somehow there are people around him. They may not change everything overnight. But I hope nobody thought that any political party is sending us. There's no way any political party can gather that kind of group
I don't think they thought that.
From different parts.
I'd be astonished.
From different parts of Nigeria,
right.
Yes. It isn't as if bishops haven't got their own different political feelings. So we do have
of course
differences.
They do,
We do have differences. But when it comes to what is important for Nigeria,
right.
when it comes to our existential existence, when it comes to the life of our people, we are united. We are united that we deserve more than what we are getting now. And that therefore, when the government keeps congratulating itself, we feel that this is misplaced. And therefore, because it's not even looking at difficulties, they are not doing enough to address those difficulties.
Okay, well, let's move away temporarily from that, because you wear, I mean, beyond the red hat you're wearing, you wear a different sort of hat as a peacemaker when it comes to the elections. And with just days to go before the August the 15th governorship election in Osun State, let's just look briefly at the Osun Peace Accord. You were there as 14 political parties signed a peace accord pledging to keep the contest peaceful amid growing political tension. But of course, every election season begins with a peace accord. Yet history suggests that signing a document does not prevent violence. Have these accords become largely symbolic public relations
rituals,
exercises?
empty rituals?
Well, I mean, you seem to be answering that question yourself.
Yeah, let me express my mind on this National Peace Council. On the one hand, and the experience I got in Osun State is that people have expected a lot from this body called National Peace Committee. And because of that, I will continue to work there. On the other hand, there's a feeling that people just come and sign and they just go away.
Well, the facts seem to bear that out.
And do whatever they like. And that therefore, we are really, it's not worth the trouble. And there is no better proof of that than the fact that, and I must confess, we are only 3 members of the council commission that were there in Osun State.
Right.
And we are at least no less than about 18 of us. And the question is, why are a large number of people no longer active in this matter?
Right.
Is it that most of them feel that it's a waste of time? But if it is a waste of time, does it mean that it is useless? My own strong conviction is that it is useful, and we must find a way of reviving it, so that next time we are going anywhere, we will not be 3 of us, we will be at least 10 of us. I'm making that point clearly to General Abdulsalami, who is very much committed to this, but who unfortunately too has limits in his physical capacity. He was not able to travel with us to Osun State he was not too strong to travel. But that means we must think about the future. The next year, 2 years, 5 years, will there still be a National Peace Committee?
Indeed.
But I must say, Osun State signing is very interesting. We first of all did what we normally do. As we landed in Osogbo, we went straight to the government house to pay respects, courtesy call to the governor. And the governor right away fired the salvos. Told us very bluntly, I would not have gone for that charade of signing of a peace agreement if it was not because of the great respect I have for you people in the National Peace Committee. Because you come for it, I will be there. And he just gave us a reason why he felt that, it made it very blunt that the ruling party was interfering, not only interfering, but making it impossible for his party, or him and his party to survive in what we're doing. With that in mind, we entered the hall. I made reference to his concerns when I was giving the introductive speech. Then everything went. He signed along with the rest. Then at the end, before closing, say as usual, more or less as usual, we now request the governor to give us a closing remarks. And here he came with 5 pages of strict, clear accusation, clearly targeted to the party in power, the APC. He is in Accord Party.
Yes.
He is in Accord Party. Specifically, he claims that his members are targeted not only for imprisonment, but sometimes even for physical elimination. He was particularly livid that the evening before, his secretary to the government had been arrested.
We heard about all
I'm hearing now that the secretary to the government had been released. At least to give a clue.
Yeah.
That was what he was saying. Of course, you know that this is the kind of thing we are used to seeing. And that makes the Osun election very interesting, because there the government in the incumbent governor is not of the party
of the ruling
party.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is how it should be. There is no reason why the governors must all be of the same party with the president.
Well, we have to hope that the risk comes down, because there is a great risk as Osun heads to the polls.
Well, what we are saying about the president and the governors, we must also say too about the governors and the local governments.
Yeah.
The governments the governors even seem to be more guilty in this regard.
Well, somebody would say they're all guilty. Politicians in general, whichever party they're in.
That we find hardly any state now where the members of the House of Assembly wouldn't be all members.
Yeah.
That completely doesn't.
Well, the main thing is that you're doing something good in your attempts to bring peace there.
Well,
and let's hope they hearken to.
We believe that
call.
Good words. It was one prophet who said, the Lord God said, when I send my word, it will go and it will not come back without achieving the reason for which the word is sent out.
Right.
We have delivered our message, and we are quite convinced that it will not go for nothing.
Okay.
It will have a way of making an impact. At least we have expressed the feelings of many Nigerians.
Indeed.
Who have no way of meeting Mr. President or even talking with Charles Aniagoba.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you very much indeed. John Cardinal Onaiyekan is Archbishop Emeritus of the Catholic Diocese of Abuja.
Thank you very much, Charles.